What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media and welcome back for another live Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle against a subscriber/follower on Twitter. Today we are going up against Jordan here in an NU battle per his request because it is his birthday. I think tomorrow, by the time this video goes up, it'll be tomorrow. And by tomorrow I mean Monday, if that is making any sense whatsoever. I don't know what's so hard to understand about Monday, so I don't even know why I said that. But anyway, it is his birthday coming up, and so what I was saying all of that for was just so that you guys can wish him a happy birthday down in the comment section. That would mean a lot to me, and I'm sure it would mean a lot to him as well. So, all that aside, it took me a really long time to say nothing, basically. But let's take a look at the team here. I am bringing a Choice Specs Viper, with, I think, Dark Pulse, Giga Drain, Flamethrower, and Sludge Wave. Then we have a pretty standard Klinklang set. It's Shift Gear, obviously, although it's also Substitute with Leftovers, and then Gear Grind and Return as the main attacking move. So no Wild Charge that may come back to bite me here because he has a Mantine, and he has a Wailord, and he has a Dodrio, all of which are weak to electricity or electric type moves, but I probably shouldn't have to worry about that, at least with Dodrio, because it's pretty frail anyway. That's besides the point. Then we have specially defensive Togetic, which is basically just on the team because I needed something to be able to remove hazards in case I run into them. Doesn't look like my opponent is packing anything like that. His team is actually really cool though. He's got a Shelgon, which is already pretty scary, and Victory Bell honestly is the scariest thing on this team. It's perfectly capable of 6-0ing people if you're not prepared for it. So I'm going back and forth here. So we have the especially defensive Togetic. It's packing the Defog. Then we have physically defensive Corsola, which is my Stealth Rocker. It has Scald, Stealth Rock, Refresh, and Recover, packing the Leftovers. And then we also have a specially defensive Blossom. Somebody, a couple of people had been suggesting that I bring Blossom, and that's one of the ones that I have ready at the moment. I'm working on another one that's a more offensive variant, but this one is packing Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Synthesis, and Hidden Power Rock. And then last but not least, we have Kangaskhan, which is probably going to be the main offensive threat on this team, to be honest. It's running a Silk Scarf, and it's got Fake Out, Double Edge, Sucker Punch, and Drain Punch to be able to get some HP back if necessary, and it's good coverage on Steel types and Rock types and those types of things that resist our normal stab. So I think that covers the entire team, finally, as we are leading off with Corsola. I was hoping he would lead off with anybody except for this thing. This is a problem. This is a legit problem to my team. Legitimate problem, not legit. I don't know why I said that. If it has a poison type stab move, Togetic is not a switch in. What are the chances that he doesn't have a poison type switch or poison type move? I feel like that's pretty low. Yeah, this thing is just super scary because it can be physical, it can be special, it could be just a Life Orb attacker, it could have manual Sun support, and all I know is that I need to not stay in with Corsola. So I'm going to switch in Togetic here and kind of just scout for that poison type move, as he is going to reveal the Sword Stance. So he's going in with Victory Bell, setting up his Sword Stance on turn 1, trying to poke as big of a hole in my team as possible in the early game here, which is not a terrible strategy because Victory Bell is just so good at what it does. The physical sets, the special sets, the mix set especially is good for that. But because it's Sword Stance, I'm expecting all of his attacking moves to be physical. So, Poison Jab would be the only poison thing I would expect from this. So I kind of want to scout to see if it has it. He's probably going to go for knockoff here though, and he does go for that. So I'm just going for Dazzling Gleam for some damage. I'm going to let him get rid of my Eviolite, which is fine. I don't really need this Togetic for much. Looking at his team, I don't really have anything that I need this specifically for. And the fact that he has Mantine, Muck, and Victory Bell means that Togetic is not going to be too useful. So it's a relatively expendable member of the team, especially because I do have Corsola for the Dodrio, and I have other ways of dealing with the Wailord if it is special, because I have Blossom too. So I'm expecting if he has a poison type move, he will go for it here. But he already has the knockoff, so he doesn't have Sucker Punch, I'm guessing? Or he has 2 Dark-type moves and a Grass-type move, and not a Poison-type move, because out of all of Victory Bell's coverage move, Poison is probably the worst. It's not horrible, and it's great for fairies and everything, but it's just not very good coverage in general. And he's actually going to set up to +4 here, which is not good. Not good at all. I mean, the Life Orb is still wearing him down, so if I can get some more damage off, I don't think he can kill me with a Leaf Blade. Or Power Whip, that could be what he's carrying. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that he does not have a Poison-type move, though. And he is going to show off the Leaf Blade here, which is going to do a lot. Wow, that brings me all the way down to 5 HP. That is ridiculous damage. Holy cannoli, Batman. That is a resisted hit. Granted, I'm especially defensive and not carrying my Eviolite anymore. But still, Victory Bell is stupid powerful. So I'm going to Roost here if he wants to. I don't know what he's going to do. He's actually going to Synthesis. I should have Dazzling Gleam because he can still kill me one more hit. But now we've seen his entire moveset. He's got Swords Dance, Knockoff, Leaf Blade, and Synthesis. So, yeah, he has no Poison Stab, which is good to know, I suppose. That just means that he's having a harder time taking down this Togetic, which I can definitely sacrifice. The reason I wanted to scout that last move was not necessarily because of the Poison-type move, but I wanted to see if he had Sucker Punch or not. Because if he doesn't have Sucker Punch, then I outspeed with Kangaskhan, and I can come in and Fake Out and then follow that up with a Double Edge so that I don't have to take as much recoil damage. And having this Victory Bell out of the way would be fantastic. I don't think he's going to want to switch anything in on Kangaskhan either. Yeah, I can't think of anything that he would want to just switch in on this. Muck does not have the best physical defense, so I don't see him wanting to switch that in. He's not going to switch Mantine in on this, I don't think. Because he doesn't know what my set is yet either. So I'm just going to go for the Fake Out here, and we can see how much that does. But it should reduce the amount of damage that we're going to take from Double Edge Recoil. Also, because looking at his team, I don't see many things that we're going to be Drain Punching to get health back. So most of the time, I think we're just going to be clicking Fake Out and Double Edge. Maybe Sucker Punch against the Dodrio, which would be the one thing on his team that would outspeed Kangaskhan. Because Kangaskhan's actually pretty fast for NU. Pretty darn fast. She's a fast mama. So, I don't know why I said that. I should not have said that. Wow. But Fake Out did a decent chunk, and it's looking like Double Edge will easily be able to take out this Victory Bell, and he's just going to leave it in. He's not going to give up his, +4 boost, and like I said already, like 150 times that he had nothing that, wanted to switch in on that. So, Kangaskhan picks up a kill, and crisis averted there, because that could have destroyed my team if it was not for Kangaskhan. So, thankfully, it did not have Sucker Punch. But he's going to go into his Shelgon here. This is most likely Eviolite with Dragon Dance, like a bulky Dragon Dance set. So I need to figure out how I want to deal with that. Usually, they're like mono-attacking Outrage. Or they have both Outrage and Dragon Claw for times where they don't want to lock themselves in. But, I mean, I could switch in my Klinklang, but do I want to take all that damage? Because if he is invested in his attack, that's going to be a problem. And, Shelgon is quite bulky on the physical side, especially with Eviolite. So, I'm going to predict him to want to Dragon Dance here, or Wish. He's going to Dragon Dance. Okay. That's fine. That is completely fine. Because even though I am Choice Specs and a Seviper, I think if he is the really bulky set, that I still outspeed him. Which is really sad because Seviper is not fast. But I am max speed and timid. So there's that. And I should be able to fire off a Sludge Wave here. He does have a switch-in. He has multiple switch-ins, actually. If that Mantine is defensive in any way, even if it's physically defensive, it will likely take a Sludge Wave relatively well. And Muck, pretty much regardless of what set it is, should be able to take just about any hit that I would want to go for with this Seviper. Sponge that, and then be able to not do a whole lot back, but he can set up curses if he has that. I'm expecting him to want to stay in here, though. He might think that he outspeeds me just because of the fact that Sapphire is super slow. Well, it's not that slow. It's like base 65, maybe? Base 60 or 65. I think that's what it is. I should probably double check what my speed tier actually is. It would be a good idea to know what my Pokemon are doing. It is 65. Okay. As I thought, but I was not sure. He's actually going to fire off a Protect here. Not really fire it off, but he's just going to go for it. And yeah, so my Sludge Wave is not going to do anything. And now he has the opportunity to switch in his Muck if he wants to. I would assume that would be his switch in here, because now that he knows that I'm special too, Muck is just a very, very easy switch in. Now, he probably didn't want to switch it directly in, because if I was physical, I could carry Earthquake, so that is understandable, but he was able to successfully scout my set, so we will see what he wants to do here. If he leaves this in, it's going to take like 75% from a Sludge Wave. I don't care if he's bulky and Eviolite. Choice Spec Sapphire actually hits very, very hard. Deceptively hard, in fact, because it has pretty good offensive stats. So he is going to stay in, and I do outspeed him, even though he's at +1 speed, because Shelgon is slow as balls, and he's going to actually go for the Dragon Rush. Interesting, and we actually survived that. So if he didn't have Outrage, I'm guessing that would have killed me. So he probably has some attack investment there. I mean, that's not completely far-fetched. That just means he's not completely defensive. But now he's going to withdraw. He does not want to just sacrifice his Shelgon. And, you know, he can save that for Death Fodder later on, so that was a pretty good play. I had a feeling he was going to do that, and I clicked Sludge Wave anyway. I really should have tried to predict a switch either into this or Mantine, and switched out myself into Kangaskhan was probably my best play there. I just didn't want to get that prediction wrong. And because Kangaskhan is essentially going to be my win condition here, I would think. Or not necessarily a win condition, but it's one of the most important members on my team for this specific battle. Just because even if Klinklang sets up, it's probably not going to be doing a whole lot to that Mantine. So yeah, because they don't have Wild Charge. So I'm going to go right into my Corsola here, as he's going to go for Gunk Shot. That would be a not very effective move. So that was not going to do much. And if he did poison me by chance, I do have Refresh. So it's not the end of the world. The reason I wanted to go into this is because I wanted to get up Stealth Rock as soon as possible. I know his Mantine could be carrying the Defog, but this is going to be great for wearing down that Dodrio, which is most likely Choice in some fashion. So if we wear that down a little bit, actually if we have Stealth Rocks up, he probably can only switch in once. Because at 75%, I think Fake Out plus Sucker Punch will still kill him from that range, because Dodrio does not have very good defenses. So if we can keep that up, that would be fantastic. And yeah, so now how am I going to deal with this thing? I don't want to Scald, because I would not like to give that Mantine a free switch in to Defog and, you know, start scalding my team. Especially because I don't have any type of Cleric. What do I want to do here? So Viper is most likely going to be fodder at this point. So we're both packing low HP Pokemon that we're going to be using as fodder later on. So what I'm going to do is actually switch into my Klinklang, because I don't think this thing has anything to touch me with. Very, I don't know what I was going to say. I was saying I was very sure, but I wasn't really that sure. I don't know. He's going to curse. I'm just going to abandon that sentence altogether, because the thought was there, but the word making into, you know, coherent sense was not there. So he's going to reveal that he is a Curse Muck, which means he probably has, well, he has Gunk Shot. We saw that already. And then he has probably Shadow Sneak for priority, and then I don't know what his last move would be. I'm not sure. I think I still want to Shift Gear here, though. Actually, I could substitute, too. I could substitute, because he's probably going to Curse again. Yeah, we can throw up a substitute, especially because I have my leftovers, so we can get an idea on whether or not Shadow Sneak at +2 will be able to break my substitute. I would think that it would, just barely, but yeah, just in case he wanted to switch there. too, but he did not. He's staying in. He's in it for the long haul. I'm pretty sure that my Klinklang can win this matchup one-on-one, provided that we don't see like a slew of critical hits or he has like Fire Punch or something, but he's going for Shadow Sneak here, so I'm assuming he doesn't have anything else to hit me with. That is my guess. So we're going to be able to shift gear. I would love to shift gear again, but I don't know exactly how much this Shadow Sneak is going to be doing. So, I mean, I know it's enough to break my sub, so it's got to be at least 24 to 25%. But outside of that, I'm not really sure how much. And Muck doesn't have the best defense to begin with, so Gear Grind at +1 will probably still do a decent chunk. If you can do about like 25%, that would be great. So he's going to go for the Shadow Sneak again here. And ooh, that does a lot. Oh, and that is because he gets a critical hit, which is unfortunate, but not game-breaking. It probably just means that, wow, that did a lot. Wow, Klinklang putting in some work. I was not expecting it to do that much to a Muck at +2 defense. But I think with that critical hit, he is going to win this matchup. Pretty sure. Actually, not necessarily. It's probably going to take him 3 more Shadow Sneaks to kill me, and I have, you know, the leftovers in there too. So, provided that we don't miss a Gear Grind, we might actually come on top here. I keep flip-flopping on whether or not I think Klinklang is going to win the matchup. But if we can get rid of this Muck, that would be fantastic. I would be very happy about that. So he's going to go for Shadow Sneak again. Gets another critical hit. Oh my goodness, Roman is on this man's side. Or maybe not, because he did miss a gunk shot. But that's just how it works on this channel. Poison types don't hit gunk shots. It's just not a thing. You expect to miss them. That's why I should be running Poison Jab on all of my poison types, because it's not even worth it. I miss like 50%, or if not more. Certain Pokemon like Toxicroak, yeah, they hit like 20% of their gunk shots. Now, another Gear Grind here, if we get a higher roll, it's looking like we might actually pick up a kill here. But are we going to get critted with this Shadow Sneak? No, we are not, and we're going to survive with 7 HP, and we hit another Gear Grind. I don't know if I've ever hit this many in a row. That's a bit ridiculous. But I will take it. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. Diesel taking out Radiation, the Muck. And we get a little bit of Lefty's recovery. I don't know if that's going to help us here, because he's most likely going to go into his, whatever his Choice Scarf Pokemon is. Actually, no, I'm at +2 speed. He's got to go into whatever his priority user is, and we know Victory Bell didn't have it. Not that it matters, because Victory Bell is dead at this point. So probably Dodrio for a quick attack, maybe? Unless that's Choice Scarf Dodrio. In which case, he might have to sacrifice something, or I mean, not necessarily sacrifice, but just take a lot of damage on something, because I'm pretty sure that a +1 return from a Klinklang will not kill Mantine, and if it's physically defensive, it's not going to do anything. So, yeah. Yes. Now, he may not want to go into Mantine and risk me having the Wild Charge, too, so there's that. He's got to make a decision. He is, in fact, going to go out into his Trinity, the Dodrio, which is a great nickname for that. And I'm assuming he's just going to go for Quick Attack here. This is probably Choice Banded. Even if he's Life Orb, it's probably still going to kill me. And it does. So Diesel's going down, but, you know, he did what he had to do, which was take out Muck. And now I can go out into... I could go out into Kangaskhan and fake out, but he's just going to switch most likely. And if it turns out that he's not choiced and he was like Focus Sash or something and he Brave Birds me, then I'm kind of screwed. So my best play is probably to go out into my Corsola at this point. Because even if he's not choiced, he really doesn't have anything to hit me with. And I don't think he'll want to risk staying in and getting Scald Burned, because he would just be sacrificing this thing. And he might need the priority later on. So, especially because he doesn't know if my Seviper is Choice Scarf or not. I mean, unless he calced damage earlier on. But I'm going to go into Corsola, and I'm going to make a double switch here. So I'm assuming this is going to force him out into Mantine. So I'm going to use this opportunity to switch out into Kangaskhan, because now I will be able to get a double edge off on something. or just fake out and then double edge and, you know, just get a lot of damage. That's what I like. He's actually going to go out into Wailord. Okay, that's fine too. I mean, I'm perfectly okay with getting a lot of damage off on this. Now, I think I'm going to go for fake out just because if I do go for double edge and let's just say it kills it, I don't know if it would. I guess it depends on the set. But Wailord's HP is so high, I'm going to take like 60% just in recoil. So we're going to go for the fake out here. If he wants to switch, that's fine. We'll get some chip damage, and you know, he has to take more rocks damage too, and that does a lot of damage. Wow, okay, so I could just stay in and go for a double edge here to kill this thing, but I'm kind of worried about this thing being scarfed, to be completely honest. Because I don't think that Dodrio is, because it has quick attack. So I'm thinking the Dodrio is choice banded. This thing might be scarfed. And I really don't want to take like a Hydro Pump to the face here. Or a Water Spout even. Or an Ice... I don't want to take any attack to the face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Flora, the Blossom, get some action here. Because it's specially defensive and it should be able to eat up any hit that this thing wants to go for, including Ice Beam. So he's actually going to go for the Hydro Pump here. I want to say that thing's scarfed. Yeah, that did no damage. Wow. Blossom taking the hits. My goodness. Now, Wailord isn't the most powerful thing in the world, but that's still a stab Hydro Pump. So I'm expecting him now to want to go out into... Mantine, maybe? Yeah, he's got to go out into Mantine here, because Blossom typically can't touch it. Even though I am packing the Hidden Power Rock, what good is that going to do me against a Mantine? It's going to do, like... It's probably not even going to do 20%. So what I'm going to do is predict that and go for a Sleep Powder. If he does opt to stay in, I'll put him to sleep, and then I'll just fire off a Giga Drain at that point. And, I mean, I guess then he could go into his Mantine and just save this. But this might be what he's using to check Kangaskhan. I don't know. If it is Scarf, of course. But Kangaskhan can just come in and, you know, fake out it. And having him switch out over and over again, he's just building up the passive damage with the Stealth Rocks too. So this is working to my advantage. So he's going to switch into Ray, the Mantine indeed, and we're going to put it to sleep. Thankfully, I hit the Sleep Powder. I was a little bit worried that I was going to miss that, to be honest. But thankfully, it connects, and he doesn't get to burn a turn of sleep either because he switched in on it. So this is good news for us. This means that I can get a safe switch into my Kangaskhan. If he wants to pull a double switch here, that's fine too, because then I still have the fake out. And so Kangaskhan is just taking some names, putting in so much work. So it looks like my opponent is going to stay in and burn a turn of sleep here. So that's fine. I mean, he really had no reason not to, because Blossom can't really do anything to Mantine, even if it was offensive. So, you know, and he gets a little bit of Lefty's recovery too, which he will need if he needs to switch back in on Stealth Rocks. And I really want to click Double Edge here. And you know what? I'm going to click it. I'm predicting him to want to switch. And he does, in fact, do that into Ender. What was that? Oh, I wanted to call this Dredagon. The Shelgon. Shelgon is not going to take this, but he's just using it as fodder at this point, which was to be expected. I figured that's why he saved it, because at that range of HP, it was not going to be coming in and outspeeding anything, and it just wasn't going to do anything. So he was just using it to get a safe switch, which I do not blame him for. So now he's going to go back out into the Dodrio. I'm not positive if a Sucker Punch will kill it from there. He's probably going to go for knockoff here, knowing that I'm most likely, if I'm going to make a switch, it would probably be into my Corsola. So he's probably going to go for knockoff, which means this is looking like a pretty solid time to fodder off my Seviper, because Seviper's not doing anything for me. He's got Wailord, Dodrio, and Mantine left. So yeah, Seviper is not going to be really doing anything at all. So we're just going to sacrifice it, which kind of stinks. I really wanted to see Seviper kill some things. And it did get to put in some work. Did a massive amount of damage to that Shelgon. But what can I say? What can I say? Kangaskhan is just a Spotlight hog this time around. So we're going to go into the Kangaskhan here, and this is just a fantastic position for me to be in, because if he switches out, he takes another 25% due to the Stealth Rocks, and Sucker Punch will definitely kill him from that range. And if he stays in, I'm still just going to fake out, Sucker Punch him. So, and actually, if he took another round of Stealth Rocks, it looks like fake out was going to be enough to kill him. So he was better off just staying in and seeing if I maybe did not have Sucker Punch on the set, and possibly getting some damage off with a Choice Banded knockoff, which would have done a lot, I'm assuming, because Dodrio is no slouch. It's deceptively powerful. So my opponent's going to go back into the Wailord here, and I'm still worried about this thing being Scarfed. I don't think that a Sucker Punch will kill. For all I know, it could be like Assault Vest or something, as he's going to go for the Hyper Voice. Interesting. That's interesting neutral coverage, but that does absolutely nothing to Flora. She's just sponging those special hits left and right, mostly from Wailord, but still. Now, are you going to switch the Mantine back in, or are you just going to let this thing die? I'm tempted to click Hidden Power, but I'm just going to Giga Drain, and he is going to stay in and go for the Hyper Voice there. Doesn't do too much, and Giga Drain should finish this off, which it does. So I may have been okay staying in with Kangaskhan, but I really just didn't want to risk this thing being a Choice Scarf and taking any unnecessary damage, because I may need to be at as high amount of HP as possible to be able to withstand the recoil from double edging this thing, especially if it's physically defensive. I don't know if it will take a hit or not. Now, I can't really do anything with Blossom or Corsola. In fact, Corsola is just dead weight at this point because its only attacking move is Scald, which Mantine is immune to, obviously. So I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here and switch in Kangaskhan. Now, he did burn one turn of sleep, so if he gets the first turn wake, he might be able to Scald burn me or something, and that might just be the game, because Mantine walls the rest of my team. So this is not over yet, and he is going to get the first turn wake, and thankfully he goes for Aqua Ring. Thankfully. That means he's going to be getting 2 sets of lefties per turn, essentially. Now the question is, will Fake Out do more than the 12% that he's getting back from all of the recovery? And, I mean, that would be a good way for me to figure out whether this thing is physically defensive or not, too. So I'm going to go for it. The chances are it's not going to do less than 12%. And that does not look like physically defensive Mantine at all. That did a lot of damage. Even though he's going to get quite a bit of that back thanks to all of that recovery, a double edge should definitely be enough to take this thing out. So Kangaskhan is going to be able to bring this match home for us, as Ray is going to go down. And that's going to do it. So, yeah, thanks for the battle, Jordan, as always, as I say to everybody. And make sure if you see him down in the comment section below, which I'm sure he'll be down there, make sure you wish him a happy birthday for me. I'm sure he'll think that that's really cool. And I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you're leaving a like rating or a comment or whatever you would like to do. And I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.